So this is the third week of August 2017 and I bought myself a Samsung Galaxy S5. Yeah, you heard me right, as a computer repair technician. Do I know something you don't? Am I crazy, or is this just a sensationalized clickbait title to try and get some views for sympathy? Let's find out. Roll the intro. Hey name tags, welcome. This is Ash from Heal My Tech, helping you go from newbie to techie. On this channel, we do repairs, reviews and tutorials of tech, including sharing entrepreneur tips and strategies to help you unleash your true potential. In the description below, you will find timestamps for your convenience if you want to skip ahead to specific parts of the video, but I would be grateful if you watched the whole video at least the first time. Yes, you did hear me correctly and you've read the title also correctly. This is the Samsung Galaxy S5, which I bought last week. So I needed a second phone for my work to separate my personal life and my work. And in terms of setting up a business, which I talked about in is the computer repair business dead video, you can check it out there. I explained how if you're trying to set up a business, you should really be thinking about whether you're there or not, that the work continues. And when you can separate your personal life from your work life and you have something like this that is set up, you can delegate it to someone who can take over the work for you. And in terms of continuity, it's really important. The second reason I needed another phone was that I was looking for an emergency backup portable all-in-one content creation device. And smartphones are a perfect example to replace a whole set of gear, especially if you're a one-man crew. After all, this is a computer and you can write a script on it. You can record audio, you can shoot decent video if you've got good lighting like next to a window or daylight. You can edit the video, you can create a thumbnail, upload it onto YouTube and do some post-upload and editing work as well, which is great. And there is nothing more perfect than a smartphone if you're considering starting YouTube or even as a backup occasional YouTube content creation device. I certainly started with an iPhone 5, although I would not recommend it as a daily content creation device. Eventually you would have to move up, but as a backup device, this is fantastic. I've tested this phone for about 2 months before buying it because I had one from my uncle and I used it for a couple of videos. I did not upload them, but just as a test, and it's absolutely brilliant. Right, now that you know I needed a second phone, why the S5? Not even the S8 or S7 or the iPhone 7 or any other denominations of any other phones and makes. Not even the S6. Well, first, I actually needed an Android-based system because my other personal phone is actually this Vodafone Smart Ultra 6, which is an Android base. If you've not heard about it, I won't blame you. It's kind of an entry-level smartphone, but it's perfect for personal use. It's 5.5-inch screen and it's 1080p playback, and it's got all the bells and whistles of a decent phone, at least for my needs. But coming from an Android-based system, it made sense for me to pick another Android-based system. Now, I have used iPhone before for what I need to do, for my daily user interface needs. iPhones don't do it for me. Not an iPhone hater, but not an iPhone lover neither. But the second reason I chose this specific phone was because of its features which were specific to this phone. Let me explain. I was looking for something to be able to record 1080p with a front-facing camera, which this phone has. If you're a vlogger or a one-man content creator, the need to see yourself or see what you're filming is absolutely crucial. And 1080p should be the minimum standard for any content creator these days. Next feature, this actually has 4K filming ability from the back camera. Now, granted, I'm not going to be filming at 4K. I'm not going to be releasing or uploading videos at 4K anytime soon, but the ability to be able to do that means that, for example, if you have a portion of your video and you want to zoom in, if you film at 4K or anything above 1080p and then you export or render at 1080p, then it creates a lossless quality even when you zoom in. Number 3, remember I said about being able to see yourself or see what you're filming? Well, I actually got this because of its MHL2 compatibility feature. So this cable is an MHL2 cable, which one end plugs into the charging port and the other end plugs into an HDMI monitor. And obviously you plug in to your USB charger. This cable cost me £5 And with that, I'm able to actually record at 4K and being able to see what's happening on an external monitor. Now, the similar feature on an iPhone, I think when I checked for the iPhone 5, it was about £35. Again, this is a much cheaper alternative for me. And there are other phones, but not all phones are compatible with the MHL2 or MHL feature. Sticking to the content creation side of it, this microphone I'm recording from is the Boya BYM1 external microphone. It costs just under £15, but it's really decent microphone as an entry-level external microphone for improved quality of audio. And this Boya BYM1 is not compatible with a lot of smartphones as well. But however, I did test it with this S5 and it was fine. And lastly, why this specific phone and not the mini version? Because of the screen size. My Vodafone Smart Ultra 6 is a 5.5 inch. This is 5.1 inch. So I wanted something above 5 inch, anything smaller, I'd be feeling a bit lost. Plus the ability to see a bit clearer when you're content creating is really helpful. However, you could ask me, why didn't I go for the S6 if I didn't want the S7? Well, one more feature of this phone is the removable battery feature, which is one of the few phones existing nowadays which has a removable battery. As you know, companies are trying to force obsolescence onto us all the time. Now, most smartphones these days have a battery which is soldered onto the motherboard and makes it very difficult for end users, for most people, to be able to actually replace that. I will be able to, but even for me, it'll be annoying. I'll have to, get the battery unsolder it and then resolder the whole thing. Is quite painful. Now, the battery, a new one for this one, is I think about £9 on Amazon, and I could easily swap one, taking the back cover, switching it off, putting one back within a couple of minutes, and done. It would not cost me anything extra. But most people, if their battery dies, or definitely it will start to lose charging ability gradually, and so that you won't want to get it replaced because it will cost too much. Obviously, companies just want you to buy the next version of their release, so you're gonna have to go with that. So I'm getting a bit sick and tired of those devious companies who are trying to force their products onto me. I don't need all these other features, and I would prefer that we go back to the removable battery. So under the guise of putting packed full features which I'm not going to use, which I probably don't even know the existence of in most modern smartphones, why would I want to pay extra for things that I don't need or don't want to use? Just remember this: the iPhone 8, when it comes out this year, and the Samsung Galaxy S8 of this year is going to be tomorrow's Samsung Galaxy S5. The next version is always around the corner, and your new phone that we've been dying to have, which you actually have now, is going to be old as soon as the next release comes out. Come on, I don't want to join this game. Maybe you do. If you want to do that, then good for you. I'm not happy to do that. Apart from these features that I've talked about in terms of content creating, this does all the other features of a normal phone I would use, like phone calls, text, internet browsing, and using most of the apps from the Play Store. So why would I look for anything else? I'm quite happy and quite satisfied with what this is providing me. On that note, do you know how much I actually paid for this phone last week? It wasn't brand new, but it was in mint condition. I paid a whopping £80. That's right, £80. I'm going to put the equivalent for dollars. Online, like Amazon, eBay, and some retail shops were trying to sell me one similar condition, maybe worse condition, maybe acceptable or good condition, for at least about £150. The ones which were in mint condition was close to £200. The guy I bought this from clearly kept it really in good condition, and as you can see, I've actually put a back cover and a screen protector on it. I don't really care to look at the overall aesthetic of it. I'm not that kind of person. Even my Vodafone has got the back cover and the screen, and my previous phone also had that, and I've been keeping my phones in mint condition by doing this back cover and screen thing. FYI, I bought my Vodafone for £120 last January 2016, and it's still about the same price now. So guys, this is how I actually buy a lot of devices, whether it's for personal use or for my work. I don't always buy brand new. I look out for deals on Gumtree, eBay, Craigslist, Amazon, and usually I find what I want for relatively cheaper, and most of the time I get decent quality, like almost brand new, for a lot less of the money, sometimes even half of the price. Now granted, if you actually need something, you should not spend too much time looking, but if you can wait, there's usually good deals you can find. And I'm going to be showing you a few tricks and tips I've picked up over the years, buying and selling on places like Gumtree, Amazon, eBay, and Craigslist. However, be cautious. There are scammers on places like Craigslist and Gumtree, and they will try to beat you up and steal your money if you go and meet them. You've got to take some precautions. Also, you should not spend too much time looking for something if you need it, especially if that thing can actually make you money, if it becomes an asset for you. Don't overspend time looking, because time is going to cost you money eventually. If you need something, buy it if it has the right features. Okay, so am I cheap? No, I'm frugal, and there's a difference. I'm hoping you can pick up a dictionary if you don't know the meaning of the word frugal. The hundreds of pounds I've saved rather than buying an S7 or S8 or iPhone 7 or waiting for the iPhone 8, which would have been over £600, I can put that money into my YouTube channel, or I can buy some assets which will make me money, or I can even put it into my personal expenses, because I've got a business to run and I've got a family to feed. I don't have the will nor the luxury to be enriching the already rich. You know what I'm saying? Besides, even if I went with a much newer phone with probably 4K or 8K, I don't know if you've got one at 8K abilities these days, the content I would be producing would not be any better. Granted, technically it may look better on a 4K or 8K monitor, but the actual content itself would not be any better. Think about it. For example, if you pick up a book, especially a book which has no picture, just a title, it's got no thumbnail, no resolution, no colors, sometimes it's just on black and white, but the story, the content, if it's good, is going to draw you in. And that's exactly the same when it comes to having fancy gadgets and gears to be able to content create. There is a saying that the most important part of a camera is 6 inches behind it, which is the person, the creator, the professional trying to capture a moment. And if you give any camera to a professional person, they will produce excellent, fantastic results. It's not the gear. The gear does help sometimes maybe in reducing some workflow, but in terms of creating, it doesn't make much difference. Certainly not for me. I will not be any more successful or be able to produce better content if I had a better phone. There's a saying I came across recently, which was the quality of your YouTube videos is only determined by the audience or the viewer's reaction. It's their experience that puts quality into that video, nothing else. And I would completely agree with that. Now, if you've lasted till this part of the video, I hope you haven't brought your pitchforks, because I'm about to also do some disclaimers. Being frugal is not always the answer. Like I mentioned before, if you need something, go for it. I've made this mistake quite a lot. When I wanted to buy certain things, I was trying to look for ways to get it cheaper, £1 cheaper, £5 cheaper, and it would take me days, sometimes weeks, to look for the right product from the right buyer. In the meantime, I would have wasted a lot of time researching, and that ended up costing me money or losing opportunities to make some money. And you should not always do that. For example, this year we had the release of the Ryzen platform from AMD, which is brilliant, and I think I would definitely want to upgrade all my computers to that platform. The reason is because I do believe, for me, if I start to create content daily, it would be very helpful and increase my productivity flow. Granted though, I did not get it as soon as it was released, because usually I like to wait for certain things to be patched up. Usually with any tech release, there are always some issues, and if you're not in that much of a hurry, you could wait. But I will certainly be considering upgrading that. It will cost me quite a bit of money, but I don't mind, because I know that the outcome that I will produce from it will be well worth it. Saying that though, I like this phone, and I'm actually considering getting a second one and selling my Vodafone Smart Ultra 6 in exchange of that. For one, I would have the same device, which is great for familiarity, and for second, in terms of the downside of having an older phone is obviously the lack of new parts if it were to be repaired or it got damaged. However, being a computer repair person, I'm pretty sure I can find some resources to be able to find parts for it, or at least try and repair it. But then again, if it needed to be repaired soon, and it's only been about 3 years for this phone, this would prove the theory that companies are just trying to make cheap products not to last very long. But I'm hoping that's not the case. Come on guys, this is Samsung. It should last at least 5 years. It used to be standard of 10 years minimum for any electronics. But that was a small price for me to pay in terms of taking a risk and not finding new parts if this phone was to be repaired. And that was my biggest shortcoming, and probably for most times that you will be buying a used product. But for many of you, the probably biggest shortcoming of doing something like that would be that maybe you would become the laughing stock of your social environment. And I'm talking mostly about your friends. I'm hoping your family would not be giving you a hard time if you buy an older phone. So I've got one thing to say to you if that's the case. If you are solely concerned and your entire being depends on what people think about the type of phone you're using, then I feel sorry for you, and I feel even more sorry for those people. And I got news for you. If you want your friends to define you by what you're using and what you possess, then you should find yourself new friends. They're clearly not worth your time. That's really shallow and that's pathetic. For me, I don't care what people think about how I look or what things I use. It really doesn't bother me. And for £80, I care even less. So if you've got a Samsung Galaxy S5 you want to sell me, let me know, hit me up. As long as it's unlocked and it's in mint condition, I'd be willing to either swap or buy it from you. But hey, if you want to give it to me for free, ain't gonna complain, bro. Hook a brother up. So in conclusion, if you want to buy a product in electronics, think of the features that you want, or even better, that you need, and look for those features in a previous generation phone. Now, if you don't want to buy a used one, you can always buy a new one. Again, just look for the last couple of generations. You may still be able to get some decent ones under warranty. You don't always have to go for the latest, which is most of the time not the greatest. In other words, don't be swayed by companies, don't be pressured by companies and by society to put yourself through debt so you can afford the latest and greatest. However, sometimes you may want to treat yourself, and that's absolutely fine. I do it sometimes, but not all the time. Come on guys, don't let companies sway you. You are an intelligent human being, so act like one. And lastly, I'm not saying you should go and buy this exact phone. Those features are for my needs. You should look for any phone or anything in any make and model of any device that you need and you want, and go for that. That's the end of today's video. Couple of final notes before the outro. This video was not sponsored. You will find show notes and links to everything I've talked about in the description below and in the cards above. Any affiliate link to sites like Amazon or eBay is clearly identified, and if you click them and follow through with the purchase, it will not cost you anything extra, and you will help the channel with a small kickback, so it's a win-win for everyone. One more thing, if you want to ask a question, please be as specific as possible, including all the relevant details. You can check out this video which I did called The Art of Asking the Wrong Question, where I address this very common problem so we can help each other out without getting frustrated and wasting time. That's it for today folks. Like, dislike, share this vid and comment below. And if you found the content helpful, consider subscribing to help the channel and keep you notified of future videos. Once again, it was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for watching. This was Ash from Hill My Tech, helping you go from newbie to techie. Until next time, peace out.